Okay, now we'll add in some more of these planets to fill off the entire image itself. So we'll go over and let me just rename this first. I'll call this stars, and oops, double in there, and we'll just keep it in. I'll just keep it to here. I really don't want to mess it up, but I'll keep it beneath the planet layer just in case, because I don't want any of those dots above my planet. I'm going to keep it behind all the layers, so just in case really wanted to actually add in some more planets, shouldn't be over the planet, so that's something I really want. So I'll keep the orbital lines beneath the planet one as well. So now what we'll do is, instead of creating the same design and again, we'll just duplicate this layer, and we'll go into this property panel. I'll copy all these three. These are pretty much the lines that I'm talking about over here, the lines that I've actually made in the very first tutorial, and I'll just drag them all down and then drop him over here so that we know that we are actually having these. So now what we'll do is I will just move the planet entire group itself. I'll move it to somewhere over here, and I'll hold on Control T, hold on Shift and Alt, and I'll just drag it downward so that the size of the planet is kind of reduced to something like that. In fact, I'll go in maybe with a much smaller size, something like this, and it should look good. Okay, now what we will be doing is we will be removing these little things, that little rings around the planet. I really don't want them on every single one. I just want to keep it unique to only the main one. So I'll just hide these, or in fact you can go around and delete them. It really doesn't matter. So now if you see, we have three different kind of shapes. So I want to play around with the shapes. So I'll just hide this layer, and I'll just keep these two as my selection here, and now you have having this over here. Now you can go in and do Control T, and you can just rotate them, and hold on Shift and rotate them for incremental rotations. Oops, my canvas is going all mad at me. Let me just do that. Now let me just start over again. Hold on Shift, and you can do incremental rotations, and this should be it. And for this as well, I'm going to do the same thing. Hold on Shift and do that, and you can pretty much have a selection like this. So now I'll just rearrange them to something like here. I'll just move them around, and it should come around like that. I'll move this and put this over to something like that. I'll position these down, and now we're having something like this. It looks really awkward because both of them are looking really similar, but if I just move them around, something like this, and if I just move this and put that to something like this, if I hold on Control T, hold on Shift, and increment the size, and now we're having some variation in the design itself, and it should look at least decent. Okay, so we're done with the second one as well. It's really simple. So now what we'll do is add in some different color to this. So but before that, I want to add in a little stroke. So this is a different kind of approach you probably would have seen in many of those tutorials, in many of those final sample image. So you can just duplicate this holding on Shift, holding on Alt, and if you drag it down, you're going to have a duplicated version of the layer. So I'm going to right click on this, go to blending options, and enable the stroke property here. I'm going to enable that. I'm going to click on the stroke color, and I'm going to select the R color. This is the RGB mode, so I'm going to click on R, and I'm going to take it to the very top here, and it should give us this kind of a wheel here that is the stroke. So you can go around and change the stroke setting. You can keep it to 10 to give it a 10, but I'll keep it to 3, which is looking pretty good to me. I'll just keep the other properties to the default as well. Now what we can do again is you can right click and go to blending options, and now if you go to outer glow and enable that and click on this, and you can maybe pick up a color like this and just click on OK, and now I'm going to increase the size, and it should give us this kind of outer glow to the entire image. I'm going to increase that. I'm going to reduce the opacity so that's not really hitting our eyes, and it really isn't taking our concentration there, because we want the center of attraction should be this rather than that. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Now one thing that we really noticed is that the color is kind of switched up here, so I'm going to pull this down. I'm just going to make sure that the second layer is over there, and then the first layer is going to be on top of that, and now we're having something like that, because otherwise the colors really didn't go in well, and now you see the color is really bringing it up, and it's looking much better than what we had before, which is altered up. So now we're having the second planet as well, but then we need to change the color. To do that, if you did see my second tutorial, which was on color schemes, I actually told you which one I'm going to go for, so I'll be using that now. So the colors are the color mode for that, the EXA code or whatever that is 375, and F1B. So if I just click on enter, it should give me that little thing there, and if I hold on control, it should select as that, and it can do alt backspace, and it's going to fill up with that. Now what we'll do is I'll do the same for this as well. I'll hold on control, and I'll just click on here, and I'll change the color here again, 66B032. Click on OK, alt backspace. We're done with that as well. Now one last thing we need to do is this one again. I'll go to this again and do the same thing. You can again go over and change your own color in the wheel to get your own look to the image. It's always depending on you. So we're having this green color, but that blue isn't really blending with this. So what I'll do is I'll probably go in and change that stroke color to something that's more like a greenish color. So I'll probably pick this, and it's looking great all by itself. I'll just click on OK, but we need to change the outer glow as well, because the outer glow right now is a blue color, a really mild blue color, which we don't want in our case. I'll just click on that and click on OK, and click on OK, and you see now we're having a really good looking planet. That's what I meant. So if I just do that, and if I do Control T, I'll probably rotate it one more degree. I'll probably keep it to 30 degrees. So now we're having it to like that. I'll do the same for this one as well. Hold on Control T, hold on Shift, and do incremental rotations, or maybe I'll do it randomly at let me just do that, Control T, and I'll probably go into around maybe 5 degrees here. That looks great to me. 5.4, anything at all, and it should look good. Just something that's good to your eyes should be fine. So I'll again reposition the planet here just so that's right in the middle. I'll go into this as well, Control T, set it to, oh my god, Control Z, and I'll do 15 incremental rotations, and now I'll go into 5 degrees or something, just so we're having the same kind of same kind of angle for the planet itself. In fact, it really isn't matching, but I'll go to Control T again, and I'll just do something like this, and it should look great. So we're having 2 planets here, both of them looking great. So I'll call this Planet 2. Oh my god, Planet 2. Damn it. Okay, now we're done with the Planet 1 and Planet 2. One real thing that I really like is I'll add in a orbital line to this as well, and then I'll add in another planet to those orbital lines. If we get to the orbital lines here, if I duplicate this and drag it on top of everything, and if I do and just drag him out to here, if I hold on Control T, Shift and Alt, and drag it down, then I can actually have another orbital line to this. So it's actually improving the entire scene itself. All these little details that you're actually going to add to the image are really going to set your image apart from all the others in the entire social media platform. So here you go. We're having another orbital line. Now what we'll do is I'll just leave that there. I'll duplicate this planet itself. Okay, so let me just duplicate that, drag it down. I'll just bring it out here, Control T, hold on Shift and Alt, and I'll just size it down to maybe this big of a size. And it's, damn it. See, you shouldn't be leaving your Shift key while you're doing it, or it will do the free transform by itself. So I'll just take that. Now I'll just reposition this, Control T, hold on Shift, and I'll just size it down to maybe something like that. Maybe in fact a bit lesser there. I'll just take that. Okay, so now we're having the second planet as well. In fact, I'll just move it a bit. And now for this again, I'm going to remove all these ellipses here. I'll delete them, unlike I did for the other one where I just kept them hidden there. So I'll just right click here, go to blending options, and this time around I'll keep the stroke of a blue color. And if I just go to color, and if I just do this by setting the mode to R and clicking on OK and just clicking on OK, but the stroke is really big, so I'll keep it to 1.5. So it should give us that really small, or you can go to 1.8. Okay, that looks great. So I'll go to Afterglow, click on OK, and it really doesn't allow decimal values. So I'll go to this and I'll select that over there, click on OK, and now I'll increase the size here, and they'll increase the opacity, set it to normal, and if you don't see it because it's way too high, so if I go around here, that's looking pretty great. In fact, I'll go in a bit higher, okay, just like that, so that's just there and not really hitting our highs. So we're done with the second planet as well. I'll do the same thing for this planet as well. I'll do the duplicated version of this, move this around, Control T, hold on Shift, and I'll size this down to something like that. Just make sure it's really small, because you don't really want it to be big when compared to the parent parent planet that I'm actually doing here. So we'll go in here, go to blending options, right click, go to blending options. The stroke value of that is really high. I'll just keep it to 1 and click on OK, and now we're having that little planet there as well. It's looking really great. Now what we need to do is do more duplicates of these planets. I'll just call this 3. Okay, so 1. Okay, this one is going to be 3. This one is going to be 4. But before that, we need to call it planet. And damn it, man. PL, and I'll just copy that. I know I didn't select everything. Damn it. I'll just I don't know what. Oh my god, man. Just reading this, and I'll just call it 3, and we're done there. Now what we need to do is do more duplicates, more of these planets. So I'll just duplicate the main layer itself. I'm duplicating the main layer because it's the biggest one, and it has the most detail when compared to others. So if I had to duplicate this image, you see it's going to just pull out that image, and it's really not going to be that neat. But if you duplicate the main layer, which is the biggest one, it should really have more detail when compared to image like this, because this is an image, because we have rasterized all the layers. It is an image, so it is going to lose quality. So that's the reason why I'm actually duplicating the main layer. So you probably want to do the same as well. So here what we can do is I'll add in some variation. I'll probably put in some yellow kind of color to this in the swatches panel itself. So I'll go in here, I'll delete these again. I really don't want them, so I'll just delete that. I'll duplicate this just for now, and I'll put it inside the group. And now we're having this. We'll call this planet phi. And what we need to do is, we don't have swatches. Swatches are pretty much this color palette here where you can actually choose the default Photoshop kind of swatches that I actually give. If you don't see them here, you can go to Windows and enable the swatches here, and it should probably bring up a window like this. You can again go and click over this, and you can come over and click on Mac OS. And if I just click on OK, it should bring you up with this very same panel if you are running CS6 at least. So I think it's going to be the same for CC as well. Both of them should pretty much have the same values. I'm thinking it should. So I'll do the same thing now. I'll select maybe orange of something like this color. I'll click on that. I'll hold on Control, and I'll select this and fill that up. That isn't really looking that great, so I'll go in and do that. No, this one is way better. So we'll probably go in and I'll probably give it a much darker orange. So this one looks great. Okay, I used this one. The color code for that is FF9900. And for the next one, I'm gonna hold on Control and select that. Now what I'll do is I'll select maybe this one over here. I'll just do that, and I'll just fill this up. It really is blending in. For the other one, I'll probably go in with a much lighter one. Select that and fill that up over here. Now I'm gonna hide the last one because I really don't want them. Now in fact, I'm just hide this and keep this. Okay, I'll copy this color. I'll probably copy this color. Probably keep it a much yellowish, so that's not really white. That one is really white, so you don't want it. Probably pick this color, and it should give you this color. So I'm just gonna copy that, click on OK, and I'm just going to fill that off over here. So you're still having a bit of yellow in the image. So now it's looking much better, much greater in fact. So I'll just move this around, and I'll just move this over here, and we're done. You see, we're having the fifth planet as well. It's really easy. You just have to play with around with the colors. These 3 colors are really blending in. It's really looking nice. So hold on Shift, and I'll just size it down to something like this big, and I'll just probably put in around maybe here. I want it down there in there. And what I'll do is, since I've duplicated the layer of this, I'll right click, go to blending options, and I'll go to stroke. And this one again, I'm going to give it a stroke of maybe orange color, just like that, or maybe this one. This one looks much better. Now I'll go to the outer glow. I'll select color, any color at all in the entire kind of colors we have in the planet, and it should look great. So I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to increase the opacity. Set this to normal. It can be anything in this window. It can be anything in this window. It can be anything in this window, but not in this window, because this is going to darken the entire thing. It's not going to be visible. So just make sure it's either in normal or maybe in the screen overlay. Anything should probably work. So I'll decrease the opacity. I'll increase the size. I'll decrease the opacity again, just so that's not really hitting our eyes. And just click on OK, and we're done with this as well. So we're having that little glow to our entire planets here, and it's looking really great. Now one last thing we need to do is add in a few more. I'm just gonna make sure that the planets are around each and every single orbital line. So once done here it's done. I need to add one here, and one last one here, and after that we can probably finish it off with doing the comet itself. Which one is this? Oh, we already have a duplicated version of it. It's really nice. I'll do Control T, hold on Shift, and I'll just size it down, and I'll pull that to somewhere over here. I'll have to make it really small when compared to the other planets here. I'll just do that. And for this again, I'm going to change around with the colors. I'm going to really remove that. I'm going to start off with this color, and then this color, and then this color, just so that we have some variation in the image itself. So I'll hide these. I'll go to the ellipse tool, hold on Control, click on V on the keyboard, and in fact you can just come over here and click on that. You don't really need to click on V as well. You can just come over here and click over here. It should pick up the color, and you can do Alt backspace, and it's gonna fill that up. Now one next thing, other real shortcut you can do is going to the brush tool and selecting, holding on Alt to give you the live selection tool. I mean this eyedropper, not the live selection tool, the eyedropper, which is gonna let you select the color anywhere from the canvas. You can go to white, this one, this one, this one, this one. It's gonna pretty much pick up any color you click on. I'm just gonna click on this one, and I'm just gonna click on that. In this one, let me just work over here. I'll just hide this, and yeah, this looks great to me. For this one, I'll just fill this up with Alt backspace. Okay, it's pretty much the same color here, so we should have actually selected this one and filled it off with that one, but then we chose the wrong color. Now it's looking much better. We'll do the same thing with that result, this as well, and I'll just fill this up, and it's looking great. But there's not a lot of variation in this because you can't really notice much, because these two are really blending in, these two are really off a bit, but it's still looking great. Okay, it's not really that bad, it's not really that horrible, so it's just going to work in our case. So I'll just reposition this to maybe something like that, and we're done. We just need to delete these because I really don't need them. I'll just duplicate this, all that. I'll just make sure it's inside the group, right click on it, go to blending options, and I'll give it a stroke again, and this time I'm going to give it a blue color, just like what we wanted to. I'll give it to 2, and for this again, go to Afterglow, select this color. It can be any color in the entire planet, as I told you before. Increase the size, decrease the opacity, set it to normal to pretty much be the same, and I'll just carry it to something like that, and click on OK. We're done with this one as well. And one last planet we need to add is somewhere here, and I'm just going to copy this color. This and this is going to be here. These three are going to be the same color. These three are going to be here. These two are going to follow the same color. If you didn't understand, I'll just tell you what I just told. And we need to do 2 more duplicates of this. I'll just drag this around, pull that there. I'll do Control T, hold on Shift, and drag it down, and I'll just probably put it to this big, and I'll probably keep it a bit bigger as well, in fact, and it should look great. Okay, I'll just do that, and I'll click on OK. Now we'll follow the same color as what I chose here, and what we can do for that is I'll just open this up. If you did see the color selection from W3 School, you're having another color to select from. So if I go over here and if I control that, and if I just hide these 3 because those are the rings, that I'll just delete them. And in fact, to delete them you need to unhide them, and what on earth, Control D, I'll delete all these, and now we're having this little planet here. Now what we can do is fill this off. To do that, I'll probably do the same thing as well, but then we're going to choose off with a different number. So I'll do 66B032, click on OK. I'll do Alt backspace, is going to fill that up. Now I'll just select this. I'll do the color code is 9BD770, click on OK. Alt backspace to fill that up. Alt backspace is really going to be quick when compared to going into the paint bucket tool and doing it, so just make sure you're using the shortcut keys much often. It should really help you out. So just come over here, change the code again, EBF7E3, damn it, and I'll just do Alt backspace. Oops, it's not gonna work because it's here, and I don't know if it's the right color. Yes, it is. And we're having this, I'll just hide that, and we're having this different variation in the entire scene here. If you see, I'll just move this over here, and I'll just probably move this about, not that one, this one. And we're done with the 7th planet. Oh my god, we're actually done with 7 planets here, which is really great to know. I'll just rename this to 7, and I'll just open this again. Now I'll right click and I'll just duplicate this, pull this again inside the group, right click on it, go to blending options, and for this I'll again add in a stroke. In fact, I'm not going to add in a stroke, I'll just give it an outer glow, give it a darker green this time around, and I'll just increase the that one, and I'll just reduce the opacity a bit, and just click on OK, and done. We're done. Okay, we're really done. It's not looking really great because the colors here really don't match that great. So I'll probably go into this one. That one is really bright. I'll pick up a color like this, and I'll go into something really lighter. So if I go over and if I choose something like that, click on OK and do Alt backspace, no, it's not gonna work. I'll probably go to use saturation and go to this one and select that, select this, and but now it's much better. It's much more greenish than what we saw before, and it really is looking good. So we're done with almost all the planets here. One last thing we can actually do is add another planet over here, and then we can actually finish it off by adding in a comet, which is really going to end up looking great. So what we can do, I'll just delete this. In fact, I don't want it. And the planet which I actually want is this orange one. This one it is. I'll do I'll hold on Alt, and I'll just drag it up to create another copy of it. I'll call it 8, and there we go. And now I'll just move this, okay, move it to around there, and I'll just play around with these colors again. These colors look great, but what we can do now is just make sure that we're changing the shape itself, and that's really going to change the entire thing. I'll just call these two in. I'll probably switch this up here, and I'll just move this front. I'll take this, go backwards, and come to this, select maybe this yellow here, again fill that up, and for this one it's looking great and we're good to go. So I'll just reposition these, and it should look fantastic as we want to do. And yeah, it's looking great. You know, we're having some variation, but no, we need to change the color a bit. I'm just going to go in with maybe a much different approach here. No, we probably can keep it to the same one as well. It's really not hitting, but just so that the size is similar, we're actually feeling it. If I just reduce the size here, it shouldn't really matter. So if I just hold on Shift, and if I do incremental rotations and put it to something like that, it should look completely different. And it shouldn't look similar to this. You can see we're having some different kind of effect here. So let me just go in here. I'll go to the stroke, right click, go to stroke. I'll just remove the white line and give it to a much darker orange here, and it should look much better, and it's looking much nicer in my opinion. I don't know. Okay, we can actually put this planet, which is on here, which is really looking great. So hold on, let me just probably move this around here, and we should probably have some more variation in the entire design itself. So this one it is, and I'll just move it and probably put it on over here. Okay, it's looking great and all, and we're pretty much done here. But one thing that's really missing is the gradient itself, which is really important, and we'll cover that in the next tutorial, because that all by itself is really going to change the entire scene as to how we're looking at. So I'll be seeing you there. Goodbye.